This video is made possible by the following sponsors. Make sure to check out their products as well as the rest of my gear in the description below. Hey guys, 100,000 subscriber boy here, that's very weird to say, and welcome back to Project Cars 2 for another video. In today's video I'm going to be taking a look at some of the content from the newly released Spirit of Le Mans DLC pack. Specifically today, the Porsche 917LH and the Le Mans Vintage Track, which is a version of the circuit based on the 1971 configuration of Le Mans, so very fast. So to show off how this car drives and of course this awesome vintage Le Mans circuit, I'm going to be doing a 3-lap race against other fellow Porsche 917s and Ferrari 512s, both the long tail and short tail variant. Now I don't know about you, but that sort of gives me a Le Mans vibe, and I'm talking about the movie, not the race, the one starring Steve McQueen of course, in that he actually drove a 917, although it was the short tail, not the long tail for the pedants out there. Now unfortunately Steve McQueen isn't around to drive the Porsche in today's video, but luckily we have his bargain bin pound shop equivalent, Jimmy McPleb. Hi. So time to pop on the VR headset and give ourselves the authentic vintage Le Mans experience. Right, okay then, inside a Porsche 917LH at Le Mans. Time to live out our Steve McQueen fantasies, and not the one where he's tied up in a dark room. We'll keep that in here, shall we? Anyway, 3 laps of vintage Le Mans coming up. Oh, this is already getting scary. Just about avoiding the tyre barrier there on the right on the way into the pit lane. And look at this detail of the circuit here. It looks so cool. Slightly Mad done a great job really catching the vibe of the early 70s Le Mans. Underneath the Dunlop there's a chicane there in real life, but of course not in this one. Down the S's for the first time. Soft through here. AI a little bit clumsy at the start, as you probably guessed already. And my tyres aren't warm yet either. Bias by tyres take a little while to warm up, so I'm not going to be attacking too hard at the start here. Touch Rouge a lot tighter in this version than it is in real life. But then that leads on to a very long, very uninterrupted Mulsanne straight, of course. In the modern day, we have 2 chicanes in the way on the way down here to slow the cars down. Not so in the early 70s. That means we can let our flat 12, 600 horsepower engine behind us just run away down the straight, and we can get up to speeds well north of 200 mile per hour. If you were to believe the game, it says 240 mile per hour, but usually that's a little bit enthusiastic, but still 220 for sure in a car from the early 70s. Rather you than me, Steve. So on this straight now, coming up to this kink, which is a lot scarier than you think it would be. Very fast kink, a little bit of a lift of the throttle. AI in front, getting onto the grass. Don't come back across, please. And now down to the Mulsanne corner, which in Project Cars 2 is terrifying because the AI are awful through here. We'll be lucky to get through without any incident. I say that, I lock up. Given the AI shit, then I nearly take out half the field. Is this my 2017 Le Mans start? VEC start. I only got the one mirror there. I went to look to the right hand mirror, but it doesn't exist. Of course, look up to the left hand. We have our centre mirror. Up into 5th again. A very long 5th gear here. I made a couple of setup changes to try and get rid of some of that horrific understeer that comes with this car. Whether that's realistic or not, I don't know. I've never driven one of these cars before. I feel like it wouldn't be as understeery as that if I get it wrong into the grass. Save it, save it. Wow. Okay. So there was a reminder that the brakes are definitely from the 70s. I did just touch the wall on the left there, but these cars are still difficult to drive. And let's talk about the car a bit, shall we, in terms of how it drives in the sim. 917LH, I would expect it to be, and this is from videos I've seen of the car, and interviews with drivers, etc. I would expect it to be a very oversteery car, well, on throttle anyway, and understeer, I don't know, I don't think it would come as prolifically as it does in the game. It seems like it's very hard. It seems like actually it's a characteristic of most cars in Project Cars 2, they understeer somewhat, especially cars with any sort of downforce. Now, to sort of continue that, I'm not running much downforce in this car at all. I've taken it down to 1 at the front, 4 at the rear, and I'm just getting no bite. Maybe I'm just running such a low downforce at the rear, but the reason why I chose those numbers is because of the balance this car seems to have in the setup, which is double at the back what it is on the front. But yeah, no joy of that, unfortunately. The car still understeers quite a lot. But anyway, 1 lap down, 2 to go. We're tucked up behind our fellow 917 brethren. Top of 4th gear, 5th at the bridge. Down the hill now. Heel and toe on the way down. You might notice I have some very fashionable looking driving slippers on. They're very expensive and very advanced, only for you know, the most pro drivers. That's because some very handsome chap poured beer into my poured beer into my racing boots, which somewhat ruined them a little bit. So until I get my boots back, I'm going to be a slipper boy. So now we're in the 6th with the fella in front. We're going to have an easy passing opportunity here, hopefully. There we go. Up to 5th. Oh, misshift. Damn it, misshift means he gets a chance to come back at me. We're side by side. I'm not quite far enough behind to hop back into the 6th stream. He's going to be getting the 6th stream of the car in front, still side by side. Come on, go. This is the bad thing about having equal machinery. We're both, I'm going to try and get some side draft NASCAR style. We're just about pulling past him now. We're going to be on the inside for the kink though, which is not where we want to be, because his car's just going to understeer. He's coming back at me. Where's that extra gear come from? Side by side, I'm going to push him wide. Okay, now I'm going to focus on the corner. Bit of a lift. Is he still there? He's still there. He goes on the grass to try and stay with me. He comes back across. I think the position is now ours. We'll see. Wow, the front end lifts up as we go over the crest there. Mark Webber style. Down to Mulsanne corner. Heavy on the brakes. Just about contact of the 8 in front, who's very slow getting through. But I think we've just about got that position. Wow, that was side by side all the way down the straight. And when you're doing 200 plus mile an hour, that's a little bit scary. Just a little bit. 5th gear now. Now I have tried the Ferrari as well. I actually prefer the Ferrari to this, but I want to do a video of the Porsche just because it's a very pretty looking thing. Again, they both seem to suffer with this terminal understeer, which I can't quite cure. Maybe there's someone out there with better setup knowledge of these older cars that can do that. Please let me know how you would do that, because everything I've tried that I would do on modern cars does not seem to work. Arnage. See, they're just ploughing there at pretty much no speed. Downforce wouldn't do anything then, so that's something on the base setup that is maybe incorrect. Otherwise, I do enjoy it. No, again, real talk, I don't really play Project Cars 2 that much in my spare time, because I don't really like the way a lot of the cars drive. Some of them drive pretty well, others drive oddly, and I can't understand why. Of course, with the OSW, you can feel a lot of the detail that the Force Evac has. This car doesn't have much detail, but the experience, though, the experience of sitting in VR and being here at Le Mans, I feel like I'm doing this right now. I feel like I'm here. The only thing I'm missing is a very cool bandana. And of course, good looks as well. I'm going for the Steve McQueen angle. But one more lap remaining. And the physical style of driving this car, of course, it's nowhere near as physical as it is in real life, but having to go through the gears and just keep myself aware at all times, because whilst, again, missing that 5th gear, just a bit too eager going in there. But I can imagine driving this car for a long time would be quite tiring. Tyres coming up a temperature now, so we've got a bit more grip at the front, but you can see the front end just lifting every time I get on the throttle. I think this is just old. This is some of the first prototypes ever to appear, and they're just very different to what you expect them to be. So down the Mulsanne straight one more time. Will I be close enough to make any more positions up? I think I might be, as long as I can just stay in the slipstream here. The car in front is a bit slower. We are going to be getting just the tiniest amount of slipstream. Now, I think his car in front is going to be getting some as well, so that's going to be pulling him along. Come on, 917. There you go, we're getting a bit closer now. You can hear the revs start to rise as the car in front punches a hole in the air, so we can just hide behind it. Best first sector, not surprised by that, given we're just sitting in the slipstream now. 8,500 RPM. Again, going to be a slight lift through here because the AI is a little bit spicy through this kink. That guy actually gets on the brakes there. Oh no, there's nowhere to go, there's nowhere to go, I've got to wait. Run up behind my fellow Porsche, but is that Ferrari? Is that Ferrari inside? No, it's a Porsche as well. Got to go for the inside here. Late on the brakes. Just about got it stopped. I have no idea how that thing turned, but it did, and we're through up 2 places there. Going for the ultimate dive bomb technique there at the Mulsanne corner. Seems to be paying off anyway. fifth gear, of course. Now, I haven't really had much chance to talk about this track too much. I've been too immersed in the racing, which, again, although I think the driving in Project Cars 2 could be better, I think the immersive experience is some of the best out there in sim racing, which I guess, that's part of sim racing. It's got to be immersive as well. This part here, of course, that scene there to the right, the scene of the accident, the famous accident in the Le Mans movie. Now, in real life, this is where you sort of get ready for the Porsche curves, a very fast series of corners, but as you've seen through here, they don't exist in this, so it just means you end up going through this very fast sweeping complex with barriers either side at, 180, 190 miles per hour in a car that is essentially made of tin cans. And you go over there, oh, just touch the grass, big wobble through there. That's what I want to feel. I want to feel like this car is on the edge. On the throttle, how close when I get to that barrier on the right? About that close. Right, can we be aggressive through this last chicane? They're going to go side by side ahead, so we might have a chance to make up some more positions. Contact ahead. Throw it through. Get on the power. To the line. Come on. Oh, not quite. Not quite. We had a great run through there, but we weren't quite close enough. But there you go, guys. That was the Porsche 917 LH at Le Mans. We finish in 7th position. I think that's pretty much Porsches all the way up there and Ferraris behind. If you enjoyed that video and that perspective there of driving and what it's like to drive in the 70s, then please hit that like button. And of course, if you really enjoyed it, subscribe to be notified of future videos and hit the bell icon so you get a nice little notification whenever I go live or whenever I put up new content. Again, guys, a massive thank you for 100,000 subscribers. I have no idea how I got to this point, but I don't plan on stopping. So thank you all for your support and just making this the best job I could ever hope for. Take care, guys. Have an awesome day. I'll see you all next time.